I recently moved into my new apartment in Buenos Aires, and this is my terrace. This is my living room. This is my balcony with traffic. I've been in Argentina now for the last 9 months, and in those 9 months, I've been in 4 different apartments between here and Cordoba, as well as tons of guest houses, hostels, hotels up in the north. And only one time did I use Airbnb. Well, sort of. When I'm looking for housing when I travel, I always start with Airbnb. And if you're here, you probably did the same. Looked at Airbnb for Buenos Aires. The thing is, in this city, Airbnb is incredibly expensive, but luckily there are other alternatives. If you want something quick and easy, inexpensive, stick with Airbnb. It's totally fine, it's legit, it's just going to cost you more money. But if you have a little patience and a little time, you might want to consider a few extra options to save yourself money. We found this apartment through Mercado Libre and we pay $400 a month. One difference is that we're renting this for a 3-year contract. However, in this video, I'm going to explain to you how to find alquiler temporal or temporary housing or long-term housing on several other websites. Here's a few other good places to start. Mercado Libre, Zona Prop, Argent Prop, and Alternativa. If you're only looking for short-term, select alquiler temporal. You can also set the filter for dueño directo so that you're dealing directly with the property owner rather than an inmobiliaria or housing company. As far as costs go for apartments in Argentina, you can really get the entire spectrum, and it depends on the neighborhood, whether you're using Airbnb, a different company, or if you're sharing apartments, or if you're having the entire place to yourself. Dos ambientes, which is the main room plus a bedroom, or tres ambientes, which would mean 2 bedrooms and 1 main room, like living room and dining room and kitchen. You're gonna find higher rents in places like Recoleta, Palermo, Belgrano. You'll find more affordable rents in the neighborhoods like San Telmo, Balvanera, Almagro. You can find the entire spectrum from $300 to $1,300. And of course, prices will always be higher on Airbnb. I've seen apartments here for $400 per week. I'm paying $400 per month. But if you're willing to give a little extra time and a little extra effort, you can definitely find something. While we were searching for this apartment, we saw another apartment, actually just a few blocks from here, that had 2 swimming pools, indoor, outdoor, a gym with an amazing view of the city, a 1-bedroom for $400. But it was not on Airbnb. If you take a look in the description below, I've listed a link with my blog, and on there I have a list of several words that can help you in your search if you don't speak Spanish. While on your housing search, you might run into several of Argentinians' renting laws. 1, tenants are required to sign a 3-year contract. The tenant will be required to show their DNI or national ID number and proof of income. The tenant must find a garantía who is willing to sign for you. A garantía is a person who owns property in Buenos Aires, and basically they're saying that if you don't pay your rent, then the company or the owner will come for their property and they are now responsible for your rent. Lastly, the payment. 1 month rent deposit and 1 first month. It's actually illegal to charge commission in Buenos Aires, though you will see this happening a lot. In our case, we did end up paying the commission because we found an apartment that we wanted, so we just decided to do it. So we paid 3 months of rent, first month, deposit, and commission. You might end up having to pay some fees for informes as well. A receipt of your salary, a photocopy of the DNI, and the garantía inmobiliaria. Basically, all the documents that you need that will need to be signed. Each informe should only be around 1,200 pesos, and technically, it's the responsibility of the owner, not the tenant, though sometimes they'll try to put that responsibility on the tenant. Yes, those may be rules, but this is Argentina, so rules don't always apply. For example, in the apartment that we found just a few blocks away, if you're willing to pay 6 months rent in advance in cash, then they're willing to waive the garantía, so you don't need a garantía, and they also didn't want to sign a 3-year contract because it was in their financial benefit. So if you're looking to stay in Buenos Aires for a long-term period, then you should probably try to look for something with a 3-year contract. If not, if you're planning to be here temporarily, 3 months, 6 months, ask around. See if you can find anything like what I found over there, where you can pay 3 months or 6 months in advance and you don't need a garantía. So the one time that I actually did sort of use Airbnb, I found the apartment that I wanted on Airbnb, then I contacted the owner directly and we worked out a price between us, and I actually ended up paying him with Venmo because he lived in the United States. So if possible, I would suggest contacting the Airbnb host, talking off of the app, maybe on WhatsApp, and see if you can come up with a better price. If you really don't want to use Airbnb and you want to spend a little more time looking on local websites, then that's great. You can use all kinds of filters like what neighborhood you want, how much you want to pay. And the good thing about most of these websites that's different than Airbnb is they actually have the exact address and they have contact information. So it's so much easier to just hit contact by WhatsApp and message the owner directly. So if you've never been to Buenos Aires before, you probably don't know all the differences between all of the different neighborhoods. If you're looking for something a little more upscale, fancy, where things are going on, check out Palermo. Check out Belgrano, which is a little north of Palermo, which also has great cafes and restaurants. Check out Villa Crespo and Colegiales, which are near Palermo, but are up and coming, slightly less expensive, but still have tons of great things. Recoleta is also a little bit more of an expensive neighborhood. If you're looking for a neighborhood that's more local feeling and definitely easier on the budget, check out Caballito or Almagro. Check out San Telmo, which is one of the oldest neighborhoods in the city. And if you're looking for something a little bit calmer, but still close to Buenos Aires, why not check out something like San Isidro, which is to the north of the city. It's a smaller town, but very chill. Maybe you're renting an apartment that already has furniture and you just want to add a little extra. So I'm going to give you a few tips on places to go. Well, I've spent the last 6 weeks looking at furniture stores, plant stores, home goods stores, so I know where to go for what. The first place to start if you're looking for furniture is definitely the Balvanera neighborhood all along Belgrano, because the entire street is filled with furniture stores. That's where we got our sofa. If you don't mind painting your own furniture because you're looking for a cheaper price, there are a ton of madereras, which are wood shops. Some of them allow you to pre-order custom sizes and some just have furniture already made. But either way, you can get items for like 50% of the price. You just have to buy the paint or the stain or the varnish yourself and do that part yourself, but it's totally worth it. In Colegiales, you can find Mercado de las Pulgas, or the flea market. You can also try Ejército de Salvación, Salvation Army. However, I did find that their used furniture is almost the same price as a ton of new furniture we saw in Balvanera. So I don't know that it's totally worth it to make the trek out there. But my favorite secondhand furniture shop is right on the corner of Rincón and Moreno in Balvanera. There is an old antique shop with tons of stuff and really affordable prices. We got really cool, unique vintage lamps there for like $10 each. If you're looking for the smaller items, you can definitely look online at Mercado Libre if you have a DNI. If you don't have a DNI, ask an Argentinian friend to help you out. For any plastic products like trash cans or hangers, check out Colombraro, which is a chain all around the city. Arredo is a store for blankets and sheets and other home goods. And funny enough, one of the best places we found to buy things for the house was the Coto in Barracas, a supermarket, because they have 2 floors and on the second floor it's full of home goods, and they had pillows, towels, sheets, everything at prices much more affordable than we saw around the rest of the city. And then, of course, there is internet. As you know, Wi-Fi is life. I would definitely recommend starting this process as soon as possible because this is Argentina, so things take time. It took us about 10 days until we were finally able to get internet installed in the apartment. And honestly, it was really, really hard. Not all internet companies serve all neighborhoods of Buenos Aires equally, so you'll need to call and figure out which companies service your neighborhood. In my blog below, I do have a list of several internet companies that service the city of Buenos Aires. If you found this video helpful at all, I would appreciate if you gave me a like and a subscribe because it helps me reach so many more people who are looking for information about Argentina and Buenos Aires just like you. And if you're coming to Argentina for the first time ever, click on this video, Argentina 101, where I give you 31 tips about Argentina. Why not?